I've always been obsessed with the look of epoxy resin dioramas. That frozen moment in time trapped in glass. But let's be real, doing a pour that is several decimeters deep for your very first try is a great way to waste a lot of money and end up with a sticky mess. So, I had an idea. In the lore, she's this terrifying gender-flipped Batman. Oh, what? No, not that one. Who's basically a pirate queen from a sunken world. I didn't want her to just stand there. I wanted to capture the struggle, a fight against a giant kraken right at the surface. So by keeping the action at the waterline, I can play with transparency and the texture of the waves without needing a gallon of resin. This is also the first time I made a custom PCB. Let's see how that goes. The print came out great, but I hit a wall immediately. One of the tentacles was too short for what I had in mind. It completely ruined the balance. Now, I could have spent 2 weeks redesigning, reprinting and such, which sounds like me, but this time I'll go for some backyard engineering. A wooden dowel became the bone. Yeah, as if tentacles have bones, but you get the point. I wrapped some foil around the whole thing. And then a layer of clay. I even hand modeled some new suckers. They're good enough for the bottom of the ocean, which is hobbyist speech for please don't look at this too closely. A bit of Dremel work and we're back in the game. I carved the rock she will stand on out of XPS foam. But there's a catch. I have no idea if the epoxy will react with the foam in the end. It can melt to a puddle and ruin the whole pour. Sure, I could have just tried it beforehand, but this stuff takes like 4 to 7 days to cure. My fix? Encase the whole thing in plaster. Sure, it's messy and low-tech, but it's the only thing standing between my work and a potential chemical meltdown. I covered the rock in grey and random patches of, pretty much every color on my wet palette, but I wanted to make the bottom extra green to mimic algae. I designed this base specifically for this diorama to make the water effect visible but keeping the models secure. And now in the edit I realized it could be very cool to paint it metallic and make it look aged. What do you think? Should I make it old gold? Tell me in the comments or in the Discord. But since I don't have the multicolor printer, I do the next best thing and fill in the text with resin. So I mixed it with blue ink and poured it. And to get the light through, I'm drilling tiny holes for these micro LEDs. The idea here is to make it breathe from the depth. But managing 3 separate LEDs and a fade effect with loose wires and a homemade circuit, it's a recipe for disaster. To get that smooth, organic pulse, my messy home build just wasn't cutting it. I needed something stable, compact and professional. And that's where this comes in. I designed a custom PCB and had PCBWay to manufacture them. I can't tell you how excited I am to get my own designed PCB. They are packed very well, and I went with blue silkscreen to match the brand. Oh my god, these are beautiful! And the golden logo is just so cool! They can actually 3D print your models too in various materials, if you're looking for these kind of details but don't have a machine. Here you have everything you need. Material, color, process, infill, they do the rest for you. PCBWay offers assembly, where they solder everything for you. That's the smart choice. But I wanted to do it myself, even though the only tool I have was the massive soldering iron. It's like trying to do eye surgery with a broadsword, but we're making it work. Before I can pour anything or make any water effects, the model herself must look great for her epoxy prison.
With the painting done, it was time to lock her in. I found this jar that I think it would be a very good fit. I measured the stone to see how high I need the epoxy. To get a sense of how much epoxy I need to mix, I poured some water in the container first. No need to mix more than I want to use. I used a hot glue gun to fix the parts inside the jar where I like them to be. With everything in place, it's time to mix. I'm using Epoxy Deep Pour. I've never used this product before, but the manufacturer says it's going to harden bubble-free, so finger crossed, I guess. Because I do not own a vacuum chamber. Maybe that's something for the future. With everything mixed with a nice blue tint, I poured with confidence that nothing would fail. I was so wrong. The thing with epoxy is that it generates heat as it cures. Can you guess what happened? What in this setup is sensible to heat? Yep, glue from the glue gun. I panicked and tried to glue them on the sides as fast as I could. What I didn't know then is that I had pretty much a day or something to fix it before the epoxy even started to noticeable cure. Now, 7 days later, yes, 7 days, the epoxy was hard. Now to the hard part to get it out. The effect is just so cool, just as I wanted, and not a single bubble in sight. What a great product! I can recommend. But the problem here is that the scene is too flat for a fight. Actually too flat for water anywhere. Enter the villain. Knock. 60855. Sounds like a forbidden document from a military facility. I don't need this. How hard can this be? Oh, wait, 2 products? Ugh. Okay, what does the manual say? Ha, as clear as day. Let's go. These are kind of the same material as I used in the pirate cave. You should totally watch that after this one. The link is in the corner. So, melting this for 40 minutes meant chemical vapors marinating my kitchen. For weeks my lunch smelled like a laboratory accident. If you're ever going to use this, for the love of your lungs, do not heat this in your regular oven. You have been warned. I did wear a gas mask the whole time. See the vapor? That's probably toxic as hell. If you like these kinds of build, hit the like button and tell me in the comments. I'm on the road to 1000 subscribers and I would love to have your help. This stuff also sets in seconds, so I was at war with a hairdryer, trying to sculpt waves after it cooled. Even if I hate this product, you can't really argue with the result. Damn, it looks good. What is your favorite water product? Tell me in the comments so I can try it out. Now, to finish this diorama, I glue everything in the base to hide it, and put a switch in the back. Before we see the final result, I just want to thank my Patreon for the continued support, and if you want to see behind the scenes content, make sure to check it out in the description. And that's it! On to the Glamour Shots! So, after the big cleanup and some plastic-flavored pizzas, was it worth it? Yeah. Every time I see that blue glow, I forget about the smell. Almost. Thanks for watching and stay creative.